This video shows the Sludge Digger, a simple device used to get thick sludge out of pit latrines and septic tanks so that you don't have to send a man down into the pit latrine as seen here. If your sludge is always thin, then you can use a simple scoop like the one shown here, or like the one shown here. Both of these were used in Nairobi. But if the sludge is thicker, then you need something a little bit more complicated. Here's the Sludge Digger, which is a scoop on a pivot on a long handle with a rope to make the scoop go up and down. Use it by pushing down into the sludge, lift up on the rope to scoop, pull the whole thing out of the pit using the long handle and the rope together, and then dump into a transport vessel. Again, push down into the sludge, lift up to scoop, lift the whole thing out of the pit, and then dump into the transport vessel. The Sludge Digger can be built to be very durable, as will be seen next. There are many different design options: long handle, short handle, bigger scoop, smaller scoop, different shapes of scoops, and many different materials that it could be made of. This particular Sludge Digger is partially steel and partially aluminum. Now let's see it in action. This is a simulated pit latrine with simulated thick sludge made of water and potting soil and bentonite clay. You can vary the thickness by varying the ratios, but this sludge is much too thick to be pumped and too thick to be scooped using an ordinary scoop without the pivot. There is a hole in the bottom of the scoop to let the air out when you push down into the sludge, and you can often hear the air whistling through that hole. Here's a close-up of the same thing. There's quite a bit of trash in this sludge as well, but these scoop-type methods handle trash quite easily. You can't see the trash because everything is brown and muddy. In a time test, it took me 98 seconds to fill that 20-liter bucket. The volume of this scoop is about 4 liters. And it is about 10 centimeters by 15 centimeters by 30. Here's the trash that was in the pit latrine. Again, you didn't see it, but it was a combination of rags, bags, bottles, and cans. There's also a simulated slab with a simulated squatting hole, as seen here. This shows that the device can be used through a squatting hole, although it is, of course, a little more complicated and slower. The simulated squatting hole is 12 centimeters by 22 centimeters. The point here is that if you have a squatting hole of adequate size, you do not need to break the slab open. The weight of this Sludge Digger is about 4.3 kilograms, slightly greater than the 2 shovels in my left hand. It could be made lighter or heavier depending on what materials and manufacturing details are used. It can be manufactured in your local weld shop, as are all over the developing world. This one is in Malawi. The final still photograph shows the pivot, the bottom end of the Sludge Digger, showing the pivot and the hole in the bottom of the scoop to let the air out. Also, it shows the stops that prevent the scoop from rotating past the fully down position. The final video sequence shows the device being used in thin sludge in Nairobi in 2017. This is an early prototype. I've of course closed off the air hole in the bottom of the scoop. The things I'm trying to show here are that you can use a single tool to handle both thick and thin sludge, and also that the device can be used under a roof, provided that the handle isn't too long. Contact me for more information.